Okay, if you have more than one cell to connect, if you want to connect for instance two cells, you can do that either parallel or in series. But watch out when you for instance connect the first one with a 10 gauge wire, then you also have to connect the second one with a separate 10 gauge wire all the way to the battery or to the relay. You should not connect both cells with each other on one 10 gauge wire, because when they draw the 15 amps each, that's too much for just a 10 gauge wire. You have to use a thicker wire than in this case. Also, you have to watch out that you use also the minus wire separately, and also with the 10 gauge wire here. Okay, so every cell has to be connected separately. If you want to connect them together, then make sure, it is possible, but make sure that you use a thicker wire than just a 10 gauge. Also, what is possible and especially recommended for 24 volts application is that you connect them together to get the voltage down. So for instance, from this minus to this plus, and then from this minus to the battery with a 10 gauge, and from this plus to the battery with a 10 gauge. So you have both in series connected, and this way you get the 24 volts down to 12 volts each. If you have for instance the quadro, there are 4 units together in one, it's possible to connect them each individually with a 10 gauge wire, so you have 4 red wires and 4 black wires going out. Or in a 12 volt in a 24 volts application, you can connect them together. So from this minus to this plus, from this minus to this plus, and then you have the minus going from here and also from here with a 10 gauge wire each. And then on the other side you have a plus connection here and a plus connection here going to the battery with each a 10 gauge wire. This way you get the 24 volts down to 12 volts, and you have each 2 generators in series. So you get the 24 volts down to 12 volts.